Bill O'Reilly here, Thursday, December 15th, 2022. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Here's what's happening across our nation. The Pentagon ships heavy weapons to Ukraine. Governor Newsom splits with President Biden over the border. The Washington Post announces mass layoffs. COVID surging again in China. Also ahead, Christmas in America. But first, the U.S. military sending its most advanced surface-to-air missile system to Ukraine. The Pentagon approved a battery of Patriot defense missiles to destroy Russian rockets. The weapons will arrive as early as January. The Patriot system can take out Putin's missiles before they reach their targets in Ukraine. On Monday, Russian drones attacked the port city of Odessa, plunging the city of 3 million into total darkness. California Governor Newsom breaking with the Biden administration over illegal immigration. Newsom telling progressive lawmakers the Golden State is at the, quote, breaking point under the current immigration chaos. Said the Democrat, quote, what we've got right now is not working and is about to break. We have to take some responsibility and ownership over what's happening, unquote. But Newsom is not taking ownership because part of this is his fault. He championed the sanctuary movement, refusing to cooperate with immigration authorities. Karma, anyone? The Washington Post, very liberal newspaper, warning its workers of major layoffs. The newspaper owned by billionaire Jeff Bezos is planning firings for January as the outlet hemorrhages readers. More than 500,000 users of the Washington Post in one way or another have canceled in the first 11 months of 2022. Other papers like USA Today began layoffs over the summer, and the newspaper industry in general is a shambles. Cases of COVID again spiking in China, Communist Party abandoning their draconian lockdown. However, officials say the disease is now spreading widely and is impossible to track. Again, this is a karma situation, as COVID, without any doubt at all, started in China. In a moment, how much do you know about Christmas in America? Right back. Inflation at its highest level in 40 years and interest rates are skyrocketing, as you know. Market experts like Jamie Dimon, CEO of J.P. Morgan, predicting recession. So to protect your future, do what I did. Call the only precious metal dealers I trust, American Hartford Gold. They will show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. You can get started with a short phone call. They will place physical gold and silver right at your door or inside your IRA or 401k. They are the highest rated firm in the country with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and thousands of satisfied clients. Please tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they'll give you up to $2,500 of free silver on your first order. Don't wait. You can call them now. 877-444-GOLD. 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Again, 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. 10 days, and it will be Christmas in America. How about some facts? According to the Pew Research Center, 64% of Americans identify as Christian, 30% unaffiliated, atheist, agnostic, non-religious, whatever. Jews, Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists account for 6% of the American population. Despite those stats, 93% of Americans say they celebrate Christmas. In 1937, American membership in houses of worship, that means people going to synagogues, churches, mosques, 73%. 1960, the number dropped to 63%. 2018, 50%. Last year, the number was at an all-time low. Church-going in America, 47%. Jesus cannot be happy. So Christmas has now become a totally secular holiday. It was made a federal holiday by U.S. Grant. All right. And he said, hey, you don't have to show up for work if you're a federal employee on Christmas Day. And now that is, of course, the law of the land. Everybody gets Christmas Day off. But why? So the celebration is centered around the birth of Jesus the Nazarene. If you want to know about Jesus and you don't want any religion attached to the lesson, read my book, Killing Jesus, which is a history of Jesus of Nazareth. And it's perhaps the most fascinating history you will ever read. How could a poor, and I mean destitute poor, baby who was birthed in a cave, how could that baby grow up to be the most famous person who has ever lived? That is an intriguing question. And in the book Killing Jesus, it's also a movie that you can watch, a very fine movie. I was the executive producer on it, and I recommend it. And again, there's no religion in this. They're not pounding you on the head with theology. We're basically telling you about the man, because he did exist on this planet. And today, all over the world, Christmas is the biggest holiday of anything. So, the O'Reilly family celebrates Christmas in a very traditional way. We're Irish Catholics. We've been that way for centuries. I'm going to the grave that way. And we like the Christmas trappings because they're taken from all over the world. The Germans were the Christmas tree people. The Dutch were the Santa Claus people. And here's an interesting factoid. When the English came over, the Puritans at Plymouth, the Mayflower, they banned Christmas. They didn't want it at all. And if you celebrated it, they hit you with a cane or something. So Christmas in America has a fascinating history. But the most important thing is that you relax on Christmas Day, whether you're a believer or not. Take a deep breath and enjoy Christmas. I'm Bill O'Reilly. I approve the message by writing it. I hope you go to BillO'Reilly.com. We got great stuff there. I hope you consider my book, Killing the Legends, as a Christmas gift. In a moment, something you might not know.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-925-7584 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-925-7584. That's 800-925-7584. What do you have to lose? Call 800-925-7584. Again, 800-925-7584.
Now the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. 132 years ago today, one of the great Indian chiefs was killed in South Dakota. His death ended years of resistance against the federal government's brutal conquest of the West. Here is the story of Sitting Bull. Born in 1831, he killed his first buffalo at age 10 and joined a Sioux war party at age 14. His struggle against American troops began during the Civil War. Sitting Bull became one of the few tribal leaders who refused to sign peace treaties with Washington. His loyalty to the traditional Indian way of life won him thousands of followers among Native Americans. By 1869, after the Civil War, Sitting Bull was made supreme leader of the Lakota Sioux, the first person to ever hold that title. In 1875, the U.S. government ordered Sitting Bull to bring his people onto the reservation, but he refused. The clash led to the Battle of the Little Bighorn, where the Sioux and Cheyenne wiped out General Custer's 7th Cavalry. 263 Americans were killed, their bodies stripped, scalped, and massacred as a message to President Grant. The battle enraged the federal government in Washington. So Sitting Bull and his people were pursued into Canada. With food scarce, the tribe ultimately surrendered to the U.S. Army in July 1881. They were moved to the Standing Rock Reservation in South Dakota. In 1890, officials in Washington falsely blamed Sitting Bull for another insurrection. Indian police were dispatched to arrest the chief. Well, he was taken into confinement, but there was a fracas, and somebody fired a shot. So the Indian police retaliated and shot Sitting Bull dead. And here's something else you might not know. The actual location of Sitting Bull's grave is still a mystery. After his murder, the chief's body was dumped in a cemetery at Fort Yates, North Dakota. 60 years later, a descendant named Clarence Gray Eagle secretly relocated Sitting Bull's grave, and nobody knows where it is. More on the great Chief Sitting Bull in my book, Killing Crazy Horse. Now this.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps' base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file lawsuit seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-484-3231. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-484-3231. That's 800-484-3231. Again, 800-484-3231.
Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.